Yesterday I put down on a piece of paper, if you spend too long thinking about life, you won't live life. And I have done this a lot of my life where I think so much about an outcome that may or may not happen, and I sit there and I ponder about the worst outcomes and the best outcomes of a certain decision or an action that I've made. And it really swallows you whole. The funny thing is, that same day after writing that, I came across a saying of overthinking is the master of doing nothing, or something like that, where you think so much that you just don't even, you paralyze yourself. I'm pretty sure there is a name for it where you have like so many options that you can't choose anything, and it's because you're overthinking so much and that you never make a choice anyway. I've also heard about this, and I think it's kind of funny, but it has some sense to it. If you sit there and you can't even decide what you're going to have for dinner, and you struggle to do so, how are you going to make the big decisions in your life? And I remember hearing this a long time ago now, and I thought to myself, oh, that kind of makes sense, but it really does, because if you spend so long on thinking about these, very insignificant, very small decisions, it's going to be very hard to make those big decisions, those ones that change your life or can change your life. So personally, I try not to spend too long on trying to overthink small decisions in my life. If there is little to no effect on what it is, if I have a burger or if I have pizza, it doesn't matter, I'm still going to be full at the end of the day. It still costs money. It doesn't have that much of an effect either way, so just do it. Obviously, overthinking the small things, I can't help you there. You're just going to have to get over that yourself. But big decisions are very hard to make. So you should always analyze and think about, what you're going to pick, or what you're going to do, or wherever it is. Normally that's where overthinking comes from. Sometimes it can come from other things, or maybe you've already made a decision and you're overthinking, which is a whole different subject. I think if you've made a decision, you're overthinking, is that decision good or not? Doesn't matter, you've made the decision. The reaction or the thing you're going to get from it or whatnot, it doesn't matter, you've made a decision. But for making a decision, again, you should always analyze these big ones. But there's going to come a point in time where you cannot no longer acquire more information or understanding of that decision being good or bad or whatnot in between. And you really need to sit down and decide. I don't know exactly when that time will be for you where it's like there's no more we can gather. I would probably say that you should probably stop looking for information if you keep going over the same information. Let's say you've got two jobs. One's paying 20k, one's paying 30k, but the 20k is closer to home, the 30k is further, right? Two variables, two bits of information of each job. Now, if you just keep going over them, boom, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that's, for those reasons, well, you've gathered enough information. So the information bit is null and void. You don't need to do it anymore. Because you've obviously focused on what parts of information that you most value, and that's why you're overthinking about those those things. And then it comes down to the decision. Again, you don't really know if a decision's going to be good or bad in that moment. You can only do what's good at that point, or what seems the best choice in that moment. Most likely it's neck and neck, and in that terms you don't know what's the best option. Like you never will know the best option, only what is in front of you at that point in time. Don't waste your whole life overthinking things, kids, because I've seen people waste their life away because of it. Just pick something. Life's filled with loads of mystery and things that may change you as a person. You might want to do different things. And again, this ain't just talking about jobs, I'm talking about life. Maybe you want kids, maybe you don't want kids, maybe you want to buy a house here, maybe you want to buy a house there, whatever. life can change at any given time, and you can always change what you've chosen. The lesson for today: don't overthink too much. Always think critically, but not for too long.